And welcome to the Monday edition of Two Bald Guys on the Right. I got it right this week.
We did.
Last week, it just didn't sound that great. It really didn't. But we got it right. A lot of things going on that we're going to get to. We remind you, if you would, please subscribe to the channel and tell your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and get the alerts, if you would. And very important that you do that for us. So a lot of things to talk about. We'll be talking about. I got some personal feelings about what's going on. And I want to share about. I don't want to be the angry guy, but I'll get to that coming up in a second.
Here we go.
So we start the show. We look for things that are on the, on social media, and that I kind of find comical or interesting or whatever. So, number one. Dudes will say wearing a mask is embarrassing, but wear pants like this. By the way, I actually know guys that wear pants like that.
Yeah, same.
So, from the Kyle Rittenhouse saga in Kenosha, which we will get to, when you get second place in the Wisconsin annual quick draw competition, that guy right there was not the pedophile, but had a laundry list. And if you could see, he's got a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
He's got a gun in his hand. He's a convicted felon. He's not supposed to have a gun. And for those that are always crying about, well, a 17-year-old shouldn't have a gun, I remember when I was in school, there were actually guns in our trucks on
the school campus.
And
same.
Number three. If it wasn't for 17-year-olds with guns, we'd still be British at this point in time. Thank you, Maggie, for that. We appreciate that so much.
For sure.
Number four, imagine being raped at 14. Now imagine the NBA promoting a rapist because he got shot, the same rapist that raped you.
Right.
And by the way, her cousin has come out pretty strong about this whole thing. And from her Twitter page, I stole this from her Twitter page. It says, "I just hope you never have a family member raped and abused and then have to sit and watch the Boston Celtics and the Lakers demand justice for all your rapists." That doesn't make any sense. Attempting to get justice for a family member. By the way, Jacob should be in jail, and hope that happens soon. That's actually the young lady that got raped or allegedly got raped. That's her cousin. I think this could be us right here. Number 6. Times are tough. Once again, I am selling my nudes. $5 to get one. It shouldn't say $25. It should say $100
to not
to give one.
Yeah.
I will send you one. If you don't pay me $100.
That's right. You're getting one unless you pay me $100. That's the threat.
I actually posted this next one up on social media today, and if you trust mail-in ballots, please put a $100 bill in the envelope and mail it with the $100 bill sticking out of the edge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you trust the mail system and mail-in ballots, go ahead and do this. And
Good luck.
This next one is actually mine, too. I don't watch the NBA because I used to watch sports to get away from political stuff, but no. So I go to my son's over the weekend, and they're watching the NBA, and I thought it's kind of funny seeing equality on the back of NBA players' jerseys in a league that's 99% made up of black men. Let's make it more equal. We need more white men that can't jump.
Let's get some more Hispanics in there, too.
Yeah, we need
How many Hispanics do we have playing basketball?
There was one. Do you count like Manu Ginobili? He's from Spain. No, I don't think you can count him. So... I thought about this over the weekend as I argued with a buddy of mine who is in a master's program. And I told him, he's African-American, by the way, and I said, I don't even know how you could be enrolled in classes that are called a master's program.
Yeah, because of the racist connotations.
But anyway...
wait a minute. Well, with the systemic racism in this country, how in the world would he even qualify?
Well, that was my next point to him. I said, We live in such a terrible country. How the hell did you get into the master's program?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering. So CDC came out with a new report on Saturday. They kind of silently, that's a dead, and they do this on purpose. Saturday is a dead day. So if you're going to break a story, you want to break it on Friday, you break it. Saturday, usually it gets put to rest. CDC came out and said 94% of coronavirus deaths in the U.S. were contributed to other conditions. Only 6% of Americans actually died
from the coronavirus.
Only. The other 94% had underlying conditions or maybe. And by the way, new reports came out today about these testing that they're so uber sensitive that there are so many false positives. So let's just think about it. We've put, 26 million people unemployed? We've shut down the entire great economy that we had for a virus. And I'm not saying people aren't dying from it.
And it's tragic. Every single life we lose is tragic.
Every life.
No one's not saying that. But it's just, it's.
CDC has come out and said 94% of deaths in the United States were contributed to a different cause. They had heart conditions or diabetic or so on and so forth. So I tell you, I don't want to be the angry white guy. I really do not want to be the angry white guy. I mean, just because I have a bald head doesn't mean I'm angry, okay? Okay?
No, it means you're a white supremacist, right?
No,
wait a minute. Okay.
So anyway, everything going on with all of the division, I want to fight back for right. And sometimes people do not. This is what I've learned is that you have an opinion. My black friend I was talking about that's in the master's program, he's like, you're illiterate and a racist. Wait a second. How am I a racist?
He didn't argue about the illiterate part, but the racist part.
I mean, just saying, I am from Louisiana, so, but the point is, how is that? How is that? But I don't want to be the angry white guy. Do I feel compassion for people that are killed? I got to admit, sometimes I don't. I do not feel compassion, for criminals that are attacking police and sometimes shot. I don't feel. I'm
sorry if you're not going to follow the directions and do what they say to do. And there's a time to fight and a time not to fight.
Right.
The time when the cops are right there is to stop and do what they say, even if it's wrong.
Right.
Do what they say.
And then we'll fight in court.
And then go to court.
But I find myself at times levitating to prove a point that you see everything going on in the world today. Peaceful protests, man, there were peaceful protests Saturday. People were out. They were protesting. I am so cool with that. I really am. I am cool with that. But when you start burning people's property, I saw a grown man cry in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He had 3 buildings, and they burned every one of his buildings down. And for those that say, well, those buildings will be covered under your insurance policy, read those policies very carefully.
It's an insurance company's job to get out of those policies and to avoid paying
There
them.
is also a clause in there that talks about civil unrest. And a lot of these insurance companies, I saw in Kenosha, Wisconsin, there was a car dealer. They actually had Black Lives Matters up on the marquee. They burned every damn car in the parking lot.
Didn't care.
And it doesn't matter if you have a Black Lives Matter, and it doesn't matter. It takes me back to the police officer that was killed in the line of duty in St. Louis over the weekend. 29 years old, African-American. Doesn't his life matter?
Apparently not, because number one, he had 2 things going against him, and he was a cop.
Yeah, I guess so. And by the way, there's so many things that are on social media and Google that they're up one day, and guess what? They disappear. I posted up on Sunday after a rally, a Black Lives Matter lady, she was talking about, it's time for us to kill white people and burn down the White House.
If we don't get what we want, we're going to kill white people and burn down the White House.
And I beg to ask anybody that's African-American, what have I done to you? Me personally. No. I don't care about Trump. I don't care about me personally. What have I done to you? What exactly have I done to you? Because I know what's in my heart, and I know my past. I haven't treated anybody ugly. So
how many? I got to ask.
Isn't that a threat?
Oh, of course it is. But how many of these? Okay, how many black men and women have been just indiscriminately killed? Because I mean, of all the ones, George Floyd.
Well, it came out on Sunday that they believe that he died from fentanyl. I mean, look,
he had
a foot on his throat did not help the situation.
No, it did not. But by the same standpoint, there were two other African American people in the car that didn't even get put on the ground.
Right.
That they followed directions, they did what they were told, and nothing even happened to them.
So it leads me to the point, I don't want to be that angry guy. I don't want a civil war. But I'm going to tell you, as I look for everything burning in the streets and stuff, there was a Trump supporter that was killed yesterday. Supposedly the guy that killed him said, I'm 100% Antifa. Okay. So we can't have it both ways. Look, I'm against the Ku Klux Klan, just like I'm against Black Lives Matters. And I've been saying this for more than 4 years about Black Lives Matters, that they're just like the KKK. They are there to separate us. Nothing more, nothing less. They're there to separate us.
And it's not about Black Lives Mattering.
No.
If it was, we would be behind. They would have overwhelming support by 90% or more of the country. But it's because of this Marxist group and their agenda that they keep on pushing. And it's to just divide us more.
Yep.
What of all of these protests is helping race relations? It's not.
Oh, and we just had a hurricane. How much money did Black Lives Matters donate to the people that don't have electricity in Louisiana, that lost their homes? I'm talking about black people. Lake Charles, Louisiana is 80% African American.
But those black people, those black lives don't matter.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if
the
they
only
matter.
black lives that matter is if they're killed from a white cop.
Oh, wow, crazy. Looks like Kyle Rittenhouse's attorney came out. He broke his silence finally, and gave some key details on the shooting. So if we can go to picture number one. Picture number one is actually a picture. See, the yellow circle is Rittenhouse, and he's trying to run away from people. Here's another thing that disappeared I couldn't find it on the internet today. That's them coming at him with a skateboard. Gone. Finished.
Because I've seen that video a couple times.
Yeah, it's gone. I could not find it today, and I looked. But here's the guy in red is throwing an object. The blue circle
is the object.
What do you think that object is, Will?
It looks like a bag with a brick in it, is what someone had said. But it was like it was the way it slid on the concrete. It had something of weight to it.
It actually was a gallon milk jug with accelerant inside that.
Oh, like wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's exactly what that was. So it is crazy. And, before all the shooting happened, evidently he broke away from his group that he was with. And he was trying to actually get out of there. So and by the way, this is not for the squeamish. If you haven't seen the shooting scene, it is not. We're coming to that. But this first one is him talking about he is an EMT, and he's there to help people.
And I just got pepper sprayed by a person in the crowd.
So you had non-lethal, but you didn't respond.
We don't have non-lethal.
So you guys are full on ready to defend the property.
Yes, we are. Now, if I can ask, can you guys step back? Medical, EMS right here. I'm an EMT.
He's going to help these people.
Yeah.
He's actually going to help these people. And so he's an EMT at 17. That building had got partially burned down the night before, so they were there to protect the building. And it's kind of sad that this guy, he is going to be a sacrificial lamb. It doesn't matter. Look, they've raised enough money. They've raised over $100,000 for his legal defense. What, Jacob Blake, how much money do you think he's raised?
Oh, my God.
It's over $2.5 million.
Are you kidding me?
So here's the video of the shooting. Now, what had happened, they had shoved him to the ground. So he's on the ground, and he's trying to protect himself. Here's more on that. And like I said, it's kind of bad. So they're coming at him. They know he's got a firearm.
And they keep coming.
And he's running away.
And this is after he got beat with a skateboard.
With the skateboard.
He never fired, and there again, I have to point out, he never fired the weapon
Now,
once until he heard a gunshot.
Listen to the gunshots. I don't know if you heard the gunshots in the background. Maybe I was talking too quick, but the gunshots were going off, and he actually went to turn himself in. And they turned him around and told him to back away. He went to the police. And then he finally found somebody to turn himself into. And, I hear a lot of people, well, why he didn't get shot by the police? Well, there's the reason.
He's got his hands up. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Here's a lesson. This is a teaching moment. You don't want to be shot? There you go. It has nothing to do with color of skin. There are actually more white people killed by the police than black people in this country. That is a fact. That is a fact. Doing this will keep you from being shot in most cases.
Just complying, do what the officer says. And I understand they're not always going to be right.
No.
There's going to be something you disagree with, but right then is not the time to talk about it.
Don't fight him. He put his hands up. He walked away. He lived another day. Also from Kenosha, Wisconsin, this is not a protest. I've said it 100,000 times. This is not a protest. These people have worked their entire life with this car dealer. Show the video, Will.
Let's go.
This is not a protest.
Let's go.
They got the keys. Let's go.
Let's go steal these cars. Let's burn this sucker down. Break these windows.
I wonder what that Mitsubishi's ever done to him. Unbelievable. And the fires that they said. They talked to a woman, and you could tell she was probably Italian, and a big old girl. And I don't know if you've ever been to Kenosha, Wisconsin. I have. And they burned down her beauty shop.
Oh.
And she said, "What have I ever done to you?" And that's the bigger question. Why are you burning down these people? And I'm going to tell you a huge question, because the governor of Wisconsin and the mayor of Kenosha do not want Trump to come there. They invited Biden. How is this Trump's fault?
It's not.
How is this Trump's fault?
It's not.
You act like Trump supporters are burning stuff down.
It's because, exactly. But it's because that the Democrats are pushing this narrative that Trump is a racist and that he's to blame for all this divide so that they can win. This is the exact same day that they did in 2016. Yep. They're doing it again now.
By the way, it looks like Trump got a little bump, not from the convention, but from the mayhem. Because can you imagine living in this world? Can you imagine living in a world where people can just go burn your stuff down and not be arrested? I can't. I don't want to live in that world. When we start allowing this stuff to happen, Jacob Blake, they undid his handcuffs on Friday. It is a common practice for a criminal to have he's handcuffed to the bed. I understand he's paralyzed, but policies are policies. You don't change them for some. Well, they took his handcuffs off.
Oh, because he's not a criminal anymore. He's the victim, right? Wait a minute. Then why didn't he just comply?
I have no idea.
Why didn't he, when the cops, after they failed to tase him properly, apparently, or whatever the case may be, whether the taser failed.
And by the way,
why didn't he turn around and stop?
When he raped that little girl, supposedly he knocked the taser out of the police officer's hands on that occasion. Say they knew who he was. We talk about, judge a man by his character and not by the color of his skin. That's exactly what they were doing. They knew his character. I don't care if you're black, white, purple, pink, yellow. You want me to judge you by your character? Have some damn character.
Not only are you going to fight police when you have your kids in the car, but then you're going to go to that car and reach in it threateningly.
And he admitted he had a weapon in there.
And then be surprised when they shoot you, when they have their guns drawn?
We know that little girl that he allegedly raped, he also put a knife to her throat. And I'm going to trust that guy to just get in his car? No. So over the weekend, the NBA, the first ratings came out for the playoffs. And by the way, they are struggling. The ratings are not good at all. By the way, viewership fell about 23%.
Well,
and
there's a lot of people that just don't want politics mixed into their sports.
And you know what? I'm a huge LSU Tiger fan. You see the shirt? I love LSU. Anybody that knows me knows that I bleed purple and gold. I am actually thinking about being done with LSU football and basketball.
Wow. That's a big deal.
I am tired of this. I'm tired of the excuses that are being made, and I'm tired of it. I am seriously thinking about being done. You know, the RNC ended, with a great note. It fireworks. It was a beautiful night. And then people tried starting to leave. It's a mile walk, no cabs, a mile walk to the closest hotel that most of them were staying in. Dan Bongino is a guy that he was Secret Service. He was a police officer in New York City. He's a correspondent for Fox. He's got his own podcasts. I saw the video of him and his wife, and it's sad. It is sad.
There were a lot of people that were accosted after the RNC coming out.
Unbelievable. So here's an elderly man that went to go see the fireworks after the RNC. And thank God somebody had at least a kind enough heart to say, I'm going to get this guy out of here. I'm going to get this guy out of here. So the elderly man, all he wanted to do is go watch the fireworks. And that's when these savages, BLM, Antifa, started shouting at him, putting a bullhorn in his ear, started shoving him and pushing him along. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been saying for a long time that something bad is going to happen. Kyle Rittenhouse is just the beginning. There are a lot of people out there that are some bad, bad people. And you do this crap to them, and it's not going to end good. And why are you picking on our elderly? I mean, the guy just wanted to go watch the fireworks.
Easy target.
Easy. I guess that's what it is. Easy target. Did I put the video of the MAGA trucks rolling through Portland over the? Did I?
I don't think so. No.
Oh man. Anyway, so a bunch of trucks with "Make America Great Again" and the American flag. There's one thing that ticks off these people: Black Lives Matters and Antifa. It's the American flag. They do not like the American flag.
Well, what's wrong with the American flag?
I don't know.
I thought America stood for freedom.
But
and
if
equality.
if you don't like it, I mean, I have a story that, North Korea is actually shooting people trying to leave the country, trying to escape South Korea and China.
You're free to leave if you want.
You can leave in America. That's the greatness of the country. But so these guys rolled through Portland and they're spraying them with wasp spray, and they brought their own wasp spray. And you know what else they brought? They brought paintball guns.
There you go.
So the Trump supporters came in full force. And the look on these people, the look on their face when they got sprayed with tear gas and shot with pepper balls, what a bunch of wimps that are probably still living in their mama's basement. It's terrible. Today, Joe Biden heads back on. He finally got out of the basement.
He finally left.
He finally left and clarified his position on fracking in Pittsburgh. Now, we don't think of Pennsylvania being a hotbed for drilling, but it is. And so Joe Biden clarifies in his speech about fracking And Joe said that, he has no intention to ban fracking. Joe, we have you on tape, bro. He also came down hard on the protesters, which is the first time he's ever came down on the peaceful protesters.
Well, it's because the polling numbers were saying...
The polling numbers cratered.
The Democrats are walking away in droves.
Right.
And it's like, well, wait a minute.
Yep.
Why is that? Oh, maybe because people are tired of seeing their cities burn. People are tired. They're actually starting to pay attention when
no doubt.
When everybody's saying, hey, wait a minute, who's running these cities that are so terribly run?
Yep.
Who was in charge of Minneapolis and the police department?
All you have to do is look. Chicago, Detroit, New Orleans, Kenosha, Portland, Seattle. I could go on. I'll be here all damn night of cities that are run by Democrats.
Albuquerque.
Do you remember the water situation in Flint, Michigan? Democrat mayor, Democrat governor, Democrat city council. Everybody was Democrat. And by the way, the U.S. government gave them the money to fix the water situation.
Oh, what happened
They
to that?
spent it somewhere else, which leads me to another point. I don't even have the paper on it. You know all these Chromebooks that we invested in for kids to go to school at home? A lot of those Chromebooks are showing up at pawn shops now.
I wonder how that happened.
Nobody can find these Chromebooks except at the pawn shops because some crackhead takes the Chromebooks from their kid and goes pawn it. What a sad world we live in. I tell you, a bright light has to be Brian Urlacher.
Oh, man.
Hometown grown from the same city that, me and Will work in every day.
Yep.
Lovington, New Mexico. So Brian Urlacher is a legend. He's a Pro Bowler. Brian Urlacher was a skinny kid coming out of high school. Went to New Mexico, University of New Mexico, which is not known for football. It really isn't. He becomes a first-round draft pick. And he said something last week that ticked some people off. After the Jacob Blake shooting, he posted on his Twitter account or Instagram account that Brett Favre and the NBA players, I left that part out, NBA players took a break from playing the protests.
Now, pretty much every other sport's done it.
Yeah. So he says Brett Favre played in a football game the day after his dad died, threw for 4 touchdowns in the first half, and was a legend for playing in the face of adversity. Urlacher said that NBA players boycotting playoffs because the dude reached for a knife and was a wanted on a warrant for a sexual assault, and it was shot by the police. Urlacher, evidently, it's been taken down. That's what I said. Google and social media, Twitter and Facebook, have a way of taking things down. Anyway, in my book, Brian Urlacher has a set of cojones that needs a wheelbarrow to wheel him around. His wife is always a little behind him. I'm just saying. But the point is that Brian Urlacher had the intestinal fortitude to say something that people don't want to hear. And that's the thing about liberals nowadays and this whole Black Lives Matter Antifa movement. They want us to listen to them. They do not want to listen to us.
They want to cancel any voice that doesn't agree with them. It's the cancel culture, and the whole thing is atrocious.
So I'm going to leave you with this last story. The NBA players will honor racist victims with the names on their helmets and decals. So, the white foam that goes in the back of the helmets? Well, they are going to use that to go ahead and put, people that were killed by the police or, that suffered.
Wow.
So thank you, NFL, for getting involved. Don't forget to subscribe. We beg you. Well, I don't want to use the word beg. I'm not begging anymore.
Well, I'm not too proud to beg.
So please go and subscribe to our Facebook page to our YouTube page. You can like us on Facebook also. And subscribe, and don't forget to always hit the button and get the notifications. God bless you guys. I can only hope that next week things will get better, but these protests have now been going on for 120 days. I don't think they're going anywhere.
No.
They might go somewhere. I will say this much. If Trump gets reelected, I think he will call in the federal troops to clear the streets. Reagan did it. It's a lie when the Democrats say that we haven't had this type of violence in more than a decade. It happened in 2016.
Sure it did.
Don't let them lie to you. God bless you guys. Can I still say that?
You can. You can.
Oh,
You can
okay.
on this show.
Oh, okay. You guys have a great night, and we'll be back Thursday. We're going to talk about God only knows. Haven't even figured it out
Whatever's
yet.
going on, we'll cover it right here. Two Bald Guys on the Right. Make sure and like us on the YouTube. Also, don't forget our Facebook and our Twitter, 2BGOTR on Twitter as well. And we will talk to you again next time.